The crying child is probably the representation, especially when he's gray, of the children the murderer killed. In other words, he's the one that people look at and say, oh, he's the puppet. He's the, he's in the animatronics, or a representation of him is in the animatronics, and he fueled the fire that killed people. Why am I focusing on this? Well, in Five Nights 3, you have mini games where you give cake to gray crying children if you figure out how to glitch it out. And you do it in 5 different mini games. One with Golden Freddy, one with Mangle, one with Balloon Boy. Actually, there's 6. One with the Marionette, one with Toy Chica, and one with Shadow Bonnie, or what seems to be Shadow Bonnie. Now, I think these are representations of the animatronics and the employees. And I think they have, like, people who knew what was going on, who probably were killed or died at some point, since 3 takes place 30 years after the first game, meaning 50 years after the second game, which means a few of them probably did die of old age at this point. So their spirits probably aren't resting because maybe they knew something and they couldn't tell, because Fazbear's is kind of a crooked, nasty organization that doesn't give a shit. Just a thought. Or it was. I don't think the Haunt actually runs with the same company as the original Fazbear's that's in the games. I think the Haunting company is something completely different, and they just worked with what they had. Probably like a little small indie corporation. Just a thought. But basically what happened was, these spirits felt guilty, and they started becoming representative of the animatronics, but animatronics they were more familiar with. Like, maybe one of them was close to the purple guy and liked Bonnie, so he kind of crossed them and became Shadow Bonnie. One probably remembered Balloon Boy, so he became Balloon Boy. Maybe one was the original actor for the Golden Freddy suit before the other murderer took over, and he became Golden Freddy. And each of them were to represent, obviously, each of the animatronics. I think the only exception to that was the Marionette. I think the Marionette was a 6th child who became angry enough that he started the haunt. That's why the puppet was always thinking. He was starting the haunt, and something happened, and his influence brought the other animatronics to life. And I'm not just talking the original 4, Freddy, Foxy, Chica, and Bonnie. I'm talking the toys, Balloon Boy. I'm talking all of them. Because I have a theory that they actually were all haunted because of the murders that were happening in that location. And they talk about a sister location as well. What I think it is that the Fright is built on a haunted location that ended up being haunted by Springtrap, and probably brought the other phantoms. While the sister location is the location from the previous 2 games. That's what I think is going on. Meaning that location is probably still there, and it's probably abandoned, and nobody's going near that place. That being said, I think they're both, if not in the same town, but in neighboring towns. I think it's like a little local thing. I don't think it's like a big chain or anything like that. As cool as it would be to actually have a Freddy Fazbear's chain. That being said, you have this haunted location with pretty much every haunted suit possible, and people are starting to find these haunted suits and bring them into the Fright, and that's why we have the Springtrap. And probably the other animatronic spirits, the Angry Children, popped in too. The only one that really didn't was Bonnie, and I think that maybe because the Springtrap suit scared it or something. Maybe he was the first victim and he's really afraid of Springtrap. Who knows? Well, that being said, I think in the cake mini games where you give cake in the third game, you are basically either you are dreaming and doing this, it's your dreams, or you're meeting up with these spirits and trying to help them in your dreams. I think all of these 8-bit points are dreams, by the way. Mainly something in the building that's supernatural, trying to tell you what is going on as best they could, but because they're going through computerized brains, it's kind of getting glitchy. You know, like it doesn't really know how to handle it. So if you play the mini games to give the gray child cake, you set a soul free, and there are 6 souls to set free because they're the main haunters. So you have to set them free. And again, I think a lot of them are probably from the second game, like the employees are from the second game, so one of them might be, like, they liked Foxy, so they attached themselves to Mangle. One of them might have liked Chica, so they're Toy Chica. The Shadow Bunny one was probably a corruption, because they knew the purple guy, they knew the Springtrap suit, and they liked Bonnie, and the 3 kind of mixed. And the Marionette is just the child that was the strongest haunt, whoever it was, and when they went into the party and got cake with the other kids, that's when they realized you helped them get to rest, and that's why you get the good ending in the game, which is the children are no longer going to haunt the restaurant. So that being said, now that the children's souls are free, but the killers aren't, remember, previous theory, I think Springtrap and Golden Freddy still got spirits in them. Everything should be fairly hunky-dory. So yeah, that's what I think is going on in the minigames, is you are setting their souls to rest and showing them there's nothing to be afraid of anymore. Springtrap can't hurt them anymore, and if they go to rest, they'll have, like, an eternal party. They deserve it. You know, they've been through too much, and you sympathize with them. Because I think all these kids wanted was for the employees to realize they were wrong, and for somebody to sympathize with them. Because throughout the game, you never see anyone sympathize with these kids. Well, except you when you're playing it, but you don't really see anyone going, oh my god, those poor animatronics. So I think they really just wanted sympathy. Yeah, they were trying to murder you. And actually, Markiplier brought up a good point that maybe they didn't really have facial recognition software. They were just fucking haunted the whole time. Because again, I do think that the serial killer was operating long before Freddy Fazbear's was around. And I think... well, I have a theory for that, but I'll get into that in a separate video. I want to get the Bite of 87 taken care of, and a little theory that's kind of bothering me in that... oh, I'll get into it. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye!